Good evening, everybody. It is,
Hoosier 973.
that's Ashley.
Oh, okay.
John, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
It says this meeting is being recorded by the host or a participant. I'm not very computer savvy. It says got it or leave meeting. Am I supposed to hit got it? Because I can't see it fully.
Yeah, hit got it.
All right, if I lose you, you know what happened.
Right. No, I hit got it before too.
Okay,
just-
I got you. Thanks. Sorry about that.
No problem. No problem.
Just gives you a chance to take off if you don't, if you recorded or streamed. So,
Okay, thanks.
Okay, it is 6:30 plus. We'll call the meeting of the Village of Homer Planning Board to order. We are continuing the site plan review for DM3's application for a commercial restaurant and residential work on the corner of North Main and Water Street. Just as a recap, we left at last meeting that there were issues with the parking. The board had concerns about inadequate parking shown on the site plan, and at the request of Councilor Casulo, we postponed for a month any action so that he could meet with the mayor and other members of the village board and with the code enforcement officer and the village clerk to try to come to some kind of an understanding as to how to approach this and continue on without jeopardizing the project.
And do you
Is
mind
that a
if I-
fair?
Yeah, and you mind if I be heard? Because I think this could be rather short tonight.
All right, yeah, can you, I can't hear you very well. Is your,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, your volume is a little low, but that's all right.
How's
You're not,
that? How's that?
you're not as loud as the others.
Well, I got it up to full speed.
Okay,
Can you hear me now?
we can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, look, what I would request, and we would certainly waive any approval periods, don't want to put the village in any jeopardy at all. We would request another adjournment of this matter until the November meeting. And what I can't control what the village does. I can control that we'd like to have this put off for another month. Well, again, like I said, we'll waive any approval periods that may affect the village, but we won't worry about that. The one thing I would suggest, if possible, is in the meantime, and if we could meet with in person with a representative group, whether it's the village, the planning board, the ZBA, the village attorney, the village clerk, anybody that has a say in this, you know, in the say from the village standpoint. Dan isn't going to be available, but me and Dan's architect engineer will be available, and we can sit down and show you all the plans that we have done relative to parking. It's a little hard in the Zoom because these plans are campus style and big, but we can show you and we can try to explain to you where we're at. And I think that would be very helpful if we could do something like that, so we could actually show you that, yes, indeed, we have thought about the parking, and we can show you what we have, what options we're looking at and thinking about. And of course, we can't do it overnight, but if we could just, and I can't, I'm only asking for that, may or may not happen, but the one thing I am asking is, can we put this off at our request for the November meeting, waiving any time requirements?
Okay, Fran, personally, I have no problem with doing that. I'd like to hear from Paula, Jessica, and Ashley.
Sure.
Fran, I'm totally cool with that. I'd like to be a part of that meeting, though. I'd love to hear your guys' plans.
I will tell you this. Is that Ashley?
Yes,
Yes, it is.
I will tell you this. We do, as long as you're not violating any quorum or meeting requirements, Dan is given, we don't care who we meet with. I'm telling you, on our side, it will be me and Dan's architect, and we will bring everything with us. We don't care who we meet with, but we think it would be a good way to show you in a setting that we can sit there and show you that we can't do in a Zoom meeting.
I think it's great.
Okay, and we don't care what time, you pick the time, me and Elton will be available. We'll make it work.
okay.
Is there, this is Jessica. Is there anyone present who can comment on whether or not that's something that we can do legally?
Yeah,
Dante,
I'll comment. Yeah, of course you guys can have a meeting. Depending on who is, composing the attendees, there may be a notice requirement or a public, but that depends on who the attendees are. But of course you guys can schedule things as either an informational discussion, like a joint meeting with a ZBA. There's a number of options, and it kind of just depends on how we structure the attendance list.
All right. I'm not opposed to doing that.
I'm not opposed either. This is Paula. I think that sounds like actually a great idea.
Just tell us when you want to meet.
okay, Fran, could we do it in a couple of different sessions, possibly?
Absolutely. Look, however Dante wants to structure it with you and whoever, we would do it. If we have to do it in 3, Elton and I will be available. We will do that.
All right.
Don, is that going to require a secretary, or how do you do that? If you have a quorum of your board?
I don't know how Dante is looking at this. I'm looking at it as that possibly, let's say, for argument's sake, Ashley and Paula will meet, and then maybe another time Jessica and I would meet, or Jessica and I and Tim Maxon from the ZBA, so that he is up to speed.
So it'd be kind of done as a committee.
Yeah. Are you getting feedback? I'm getting feedback for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. Dante, is that going to be a workable solution?
Like I said, it depends on what this composition is going to look like, depending on members' interests and different groups. It could look like a couple of different things. That is definitely one of the options. Yeah. And it sounds like the applicant is, very willing to accommodate us and whatever. So, yep.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it. We'll send a fair amount of emails out, I guess. We'll gauge interest, and then we'll work from there, incorporating, perhaps the mayor, deputy mayor, clerk as well, and we'll figure out either a meeting or a series of meetings to accomplish that goal. And then from there, we'll have to, depending on what the actual composition is, we'll have to make sure we accommodate open meetings laws, the need to take notes, that sort of thing. But it depends on what the actual composition ends up being.
Yeah, to answer Joan's question, I don't know that we're going to need a secretary, because we're not going to be actually conducting any business. We won't be doing resolutions or anything else. I think what I'm hoping is we'll all come out with just some notes agreeing to look at certain criteria for to make this thing happen. Is that a fair evaluation, Fran, is that what you?
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I feel a little bit, I probably should have brought it up last month and I didn't. I was sort of way late. I got into the site plan late because I was doing other things for Dan. And I should have thought about it and I didn't. The one thing we could, not saying, we're so prepared. We've had these drawings done for a while. We could theoretically, if Elton was available, we could meet tomorrow. I'm not saying we will give us some notice, but we can meet, but they're done. The various
Sure.
options are done. It's just a matter of trying to, with a development of this magnitude, there's a lot of moving parts, but I do think it's important, and I stress this, I think it's important that whether it's the planning board, whether it's the village board, whether it's the ZBA, we've been pretty much an open book. We'll show you what we've done. We'll show you what we're thinking we may do, but it's a little hard, again, in this Zoom type of meeting to show you. And the maps they're huge. I mean, I'm not going to be able to give you copies of the maps, but they're big maps. And they're campus style maps. And that's what we're working off of, but Elton will bring them and I'll be there probably more silent than him because he's the one that's drawn them and he can explain them far better than me. But if there's questions, we can show you what we're thinking, what different options we have, because we have thought about the parking issues as well.
Okay. Fran, I had a meeting with Patrick, the deputy mayor, and Dan, the clerk, today. And we talked about a lot of different things and their concern, and I agree that the ZBA, planning board, the village board, we all should be looking toward the same goal, working toward the same goal of making this thing work for both the benefit of the developer, obviously, but also for the overall benefit of the village, and yet at the same time, not trampling on individuals that might be in the way isn't the proper term, but that we wouldn't want people to be collateral damage to a big development.
And Dan, that's never been Dan's intent.
And I believe that, but again, as I think I told you at the last meeting, it's difficult without us having seen that stuff to know what's going on.
And that's why we want to show you.
Okay, then I'm all for that. We can only really vote on what we can see, and we can't see what hasn't been presented to us. And as I said, from our discussion this afternoon, we may want to have the ZBA look at the parking, because if it does not meet the current requirements for the code, then it would go to the ZBA for approval for a special permit of some sort. And so I'd like to at least have Tim Maxon or Tim and one of his other members there, so that they're getting the same information that we are. They're not getting information that you presented to me and then I presented and put my filter on it. I want everybody to have unfiltered information that comes from the source.
We're fine with it.
Okay.
We're fine with it.
All right.
I think the only thing I would need to know, and I don't mean to put, when is your November meeting? Because I understand it's the Thanksgiving week, so that I can tell Elton, the meeting is X date, be prepared like whatever week or what, so be prepared for maybe some meetings. Do you know what your meeting date is in November?
Board, we're just going to talk about that tonight's recommendation, maybe the 17th, the week before. If you want to make it another special day, if that's too much for the other people, then that's something to talk about. But they would make that decision tonight, Fran.
Yeah, and I appreciate if someone could just let me know when the November meeting's going to be, So obviously I don't want to, I would rather we meet well ahead of the November meeting with whoever we're going to meet with. And I could just tell Elton, maybe these few days, try to keep open because you're going to have to come over from Ithaca. You don't have to do it. Tell me, someone can call me tomorrow and just tell me when the meeting is. And,
Right.
and when you got some, when do you think you have some dates prior to the meeting so I can give Elton a ring and tell him, this is what we're doing.
That's fine. We have to determine when we're going to meet. Obviously, we don't want to meet the day before Thanksgiving. I don't have.
No, you don't have to do it right now. I'm just saying something will let us know. Let us know tomorrow when the meeting is, and then we can and have some idea. Like if you're going to do the week of the 15th, then maybe it would be a good idea the week of the 8th to have some meetings so people have some time to digest what they saw. And then I could tell Elton, sort of try to keep the week of the 8th somewhat open.
Okay. Is that going to give you enough time, Fran? You indicate you've got everything pretty much ready to show us at any time.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to have us say that we're going to meet the 17th, so we want to meet the week of the 8th. And then he's going to be saying, well, I'm not ready. So
we've got,
okay.
And he could, whatever more he's coming up with, he can have done in a day.
Okay. All right. He probably doesn't want to hear you say that, but that's okay.
No, I already talked with him already. He knows that we've got to get this addressed. And I think the more information that comes out to the village board, the village attorney, the village clerk, the village planning board, and the village ZBA, as it not only pertains to this site plan, but to everything Dan is doing right up to this point, I think it's important that people know and see what we've been doing.
I agree. We see the construction, but we don't see what is happening in the background. And some of it, the general public doesn't really need to know what's happening. But the fact that you are doing things that require board approval, unfortunately, have to be brought up.
We knew this going in that we were going to need board approvals. We need.
I know.
We need building permits. We get the building permits. We
Right.
know what we need. We're not trying. We'll be very forthcoming with you.
Okay. I have never heard any complaints about anything that you've done. Again, as I said, that this parking issue. There are ways around the ways to work around it, accommodate, and Pat Clune and I have had some discussions with Dan Egner about looking at some creative ways to accommodate parking. Some of the parking's got to be changed in the village, I believe, so that everybody gets a fair shake at parking places. There's a lot of businesses here that we're looking to accommodate. So, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, we'll get back to you. Either Dan or Tanya, somebody will get back to you tomorrow and tell you what date we have set for the planning board meeting, and it's most likely going to be the 17th, and we will tentatively leave the week of the 8th for a couple of meetings for people to meet with you and Elton and go from there. It should work fine.
We're fine with it. Anything
Okay.
else, we'll try to address.
Okay, I did have, I had hit some highlights from the last minutes, but we don't really even need to discuss them because they're going to be addressed at the conferences that we have with you later on.
Sure.
Okay.
I need a motion to postpone.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to postpone consideration of, let's see, the site plan review until the well, let's call it, let's set the meeting for the 17th of November at the request of the applicant.
And the applicant consents.
What time, Don? Same time?
6:30, 6:30 PM. Would someone make that motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Who's
Ashley or
that?
Paula, either one.
Ashley, Paula, whatever you guys need to do. I think we said it at the
Ashley,
same time.
Either one.
Ashley motion, Paula second.
I'll vote in favor. I'm an aye.
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 All in favor.
Okay, thank you very much. Look forward to meeting with each of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran.
Sure. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night. Okay, next item on the agenda. If I can find my agenda. Okay, approve the minutes of the September 22, 2021 meeting. Everybody get a chance to look at those? They went out today, I think.
Yes.
I reviewed them.
Any comments, changes, questions?
No.
No?
No,
Jessica?
they look good. They look good.
Ashley?
Joan got my name right.
Okay.
They look good to me.
Okay, like a motion, please?
I'll make a
motion.
motion to approve them.
I'll second. It's Paula.
Jessica moved, Paula second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All in favor, passes.
Everything will be-
And next item.
Training.
Pardon me?
It says training.
Training, yes. We get our training deals on.
Set
So,
training days.
yeah, so Don, we have to do 4 hours for every member, and it has to be done by the end of February of 2028, or February 28th, because we approved the policy on the fiscal year. So we can either do them before the end of the year or January. We can do 2 sessions or 1,
Okay,
whatever the committee wants.
I think I have some hours in already, don't I?
Those were in last year's. There's nothing this year for anybody. Because you did them before the end of February last year. Ours goes March to February.
Okay,
No one has more than
So-
4 hours.
No one has any. So we
No, they
either
can't.
can do a 4-hour day. We could do 2-hour days. At one point, Dante was going to present something to the zoning and planning, and I have a whole bunch of trainings the board approved.
okay,
So
well,
it's more of your convenience.
I would just say from somebody who works in retail that January would probably be the best for me. I mean, we're going into a very busy season, but I mean, I'm just one person. So
Paula, I agree. I'm in retail, obviously, too. January's better, if that works for Jessica and Mike and Don and everyone else.
I'm pretty flexible.
So would you guys like it during the week, or do you want to do a weekend? It's totally up to you. During the day, during the night? I'm guessing you work, so I'm guessing nighttime. I'm flexible during the day and night, but during the week would be better than weekends for me. But I can be flexible too if you throw out a few dates. Okay, I'll do a doodle poll then in January. And then everybody can just answer and then we'll just go from there. We'll find one everyone can do.
Yeah,
Sounds
Tanya, I think no more than 2 hours per session.
Okay, we'll
Uh,
do 2 sessions then. And
yeah.
I'll actually probably have like 3 or 4 to choose from because we're also doing this with ZBA.
Right.
So some of them are interchangeable because there's required trainings as people are employees now, and they count towards the 4 hours. So everyone has to do the workplace violence, harassment, and all that.
Our planning board members have to do that workplace violence thing?
Yep, every employee in the village.
Oh
And
my
those
gosh.
count towards the 4 hours.
We're meeting Zoom, so we can't get violent.
I know. So
Okay.
I'll send some dates and then, like I said, just answer and we'll go from there and I'll mention it as zoning tomorrow too.
Tanya, would it be possible that do you have to be involved with running these things? Is that, because I'm thinking that rather than 2 dates, if there could be, if we can't, if some people can make one but can't make the other, I don't know. Just to
If they're during the day or even at night, it's no big deal. It's my normal hours at work. So I just flex my schedule. I do have a couple online ones. People can do 2 and count for that. So I'll be putting those as options on there too.
Okay, the online ones work for me. I did several of them last year, I guess. And
Yeah, we are setting up accounts for all the village employees, which includes you guys if you want to do it that way. For some of them, the mandatory trainings can be done online, and then we would do just a 2-hour other one.
okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Or maybe even an hour.
That'd be great if you could do that. Then, if Ashley or Jessica or somebody or Paula has an hour or 2 in the daytime when they can go on and do the mandatory ones online.
Yeah. And like you said, they count towards the 4 hours too. So
Right. Okay. That sounds good. Let's look at January then, if everybody's okay with that.
I'm good.
Everybody's- Okay. All right. That is settled. Now, we changed the meeting date, but I guess we didn't do it formally. Change it
Yes, you did.
from the 3rd Monday we did?
It was changed. It was I had it wrong on the index of actions, but I looked at your minutes. They are correct. It's the last Wednesday at 6:30.
Okay. Boy, Joan, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. 2 different ones. One, oh boy. You got to talk to Jack.
No, your minutes are fine.
I
It
know.
was just that little index that wasn't.
Okay. Well, if I don't bust your chops, nobody else will.
I know, I love it.
Okay. Is there anything else to come before the board? There being nothing, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I
Somebody-
motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Jessica. I was hoping somebody would. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, Paula, thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion made.